Hi, leaders. Thanks for watching this week's We Connect. We're on lesson 2 of God knows what's best for us. Okay, and this week, the kids are going to learn that God tells us what to do. Okay, He tells us in the Bible. God went to Jonah and told him exactly what He wanted him to do. He wanted him to go to Nineveh, but Jonah did not obey the first time. Kids don't always obey the first time, right? Well, we don't either. So what a great story for us all. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is the Make It Fun activity. That's the one on this pink sheet. And it leads into the Bible story. This week, we're just going to tease the kids about a big fish. So you're going to get to the classroom a little bit early, get out your masking tape, and put a masking tape shape of a fish on the floor. And then kids are going to throw bean bags into the fish. And the teaching point is really simple. In today's Bible story, we're going to learn about a big fish. So the kids are just immediately thinking, big fish, what about a big fish? Who catches the big fish, right? So it's just a perfect place to catch them. If that word catch, like a fish, you catch a fish. We're going to catch the kids' attention before we even tell them the Bible story. Okay, Bible story time. This is actually told in the little story time. If you have a helper that wants to help you tell the story, that would be fun. I have great visuals to tell the Bible story. There's 4 of them. The first one is Jonah contemplating those people in Nineveh who are mean, who are far away, who he does not want to go see, right? And so Jonah's thinking, should I do this or should I do that? He chooses the wrong thing. He chooses to get on a boat and run far, far away from God, far, far away from Nineveh. But God sends a storm. And when Jonah sees that, I think I said Noah, when Jonah sees that storm, he knows God's trying to get his attention. He tells the men on the boat, this is because of me. They don't look very happy, do they? And they end up throwing Jonah over the side of the boat. But God rescues him and sends a big fish to swallow him up. Jonah's in the belly of that big fish, and he knows he should have obeyed God. And so Jonah prays in the belly and asks God to forgive him. And of course, God always forgives us, even when we choose the wrong thing, right? So this is a great story for kids. And then the fish ends up spitting Jonah out on dry land. So those are the visuals that you're going to use. Now the Make It Stick activities, that's a small group time. So the small group leaders are going to reinforce the Bible story. The Make It Stick is on the green and it's 2-sided. So the craft is on one side and the activity or game is on the other side. In the craft, kids are going to make a big fish. And so you'll have 2 parts to a big fish. And you'll also have a brad, one of those metal brads. And so kids will, the fish already have holes in them. And so they'll stick the metal brad between the 2 pieces and fold it over. And then the fish's mouth opens up like this. Okay, and then they can color their fish and make him really, really cool. Okay, so the 2s and 3s at Thornton and the 2s and 3s at North Glen, I'm going to go ahead and put the brad in for you so it's all ready, because 2s and 3s, I didn't know if they could do that or not. But Fort Lupton, you're on your own since you have a mixed group. Saturday night, you're on your own, you have a mixed group. And then the bigger kids, the pre-K and almost kindergartners, can totally do this on their own, and they'll have fun, and it's a great way to help them use their motor skills, right? So they'll do that, and then you'll ask them, what did the big fish swallow? Did he swallow seaweed? No, he swallowed Jonah. And you'll get out your Jonah. Now these Jonahs will have a string taped on the back of them so they can color their Jonah. And then you will take the other side of the string. See, it's on there. You'll take the other side and tape it to the back of the fish. That way the kids can actually retell the story of Jonah. So you'll retell the story of Jonah, how there was a big fish swimming along, and Jonah got thrown outside the boat because he didn't obey God, right? And the big fish came along and swallowed him up. And what did Jonah do in the belly of that fish? He talked to God, and he prayed to God and asked him to forgive him, even though he didn't do what was right the first time. And then God had the big fish spit Jonah out onto dry land, and then Jonah went and obeyed God and went to Nineveh. So you can retell the story with the kids, and if you have time, let them retell it to you, especially those older kids. Okay, then the activity on the back of the green sheet, if you have time to do this, it's a really great one. because it reinforces this teaching to the kids' level. What do they take it home for? These stories are great stories, but what does it mean for them? Well, just like Jonah, God tells us what to do. He tells us in his Bible that we should obey our parents, and that we should sing praises to him, and that we should go to church where other people believe what we believe, and we should read our Bible, and you can think of all these different things. So what this is you'll have a list of little scenarios, and they're marked A, B, C, D, E, okay? A, B, C, D, E, F. And then for each scenario, there are 2 different picture cards, okay? So the first one, as you see, there is mommy pushing the little girl in the buggy, and then this little boy is pouting, okay? And so you're going to put these in front of the kids, and then you're going to read the little story. Your mama takes you to buy groceries. She starts to pick you up and put you inside the grocery cart so you'll be safe. What do? Do you do this, or do you do that? And then you'll talk about the kids. What would be the first best choice? Okay, and we want to keep telling kids they want to do what's right the first time. Okay, so that's the take home from this. Okay, which brings me to the make it real. That's the wrap up. And this is so important. I have a total buy-in to doing this with the kids. Have I found the perfect way to do it with my kids when I teach them at Thornton? I have not. Because what happens is we don't even have time to finish our craft, or service gets out early, and parents are getting there, but it just takes a couple minutes. So there's a lot of verbiage on this paper. It's important that you read this before you get to class, so you can be kind of thinking about it. And what I did in the 3s and 4s class last week, I did have time to get the kids in a little circle individually and go over the verse, which I'll go over with you just so you remember. It's Psalms 18:30, and it's God's way. You put a W up. It's great to teach pre-K and kinders that the word way starts with a W, so we're going to make W's with our fingers and make a little way, because God's way for us is perfect. And it was so cute with the 3s and 4s because they couldn't do this. So if you have little tiny kids, you could just make a little pathway. God's way for us is perfect, okay? So, and then give them the little sticker. So I didn't have time. I love these things. If you have time, and then to pray with the kids, we're going to ask God to help us do what he tells us to do. Okay, so that is great. If you don't have time, what I did that is really effective, as the kids are walking out that door right in front of their parents, you're going to say, now remember, God's way is best, and we want to obey him the very first time. Not like Jonah. Jonah didn't obey God the first time, but we want to obey God the first time. You say that to the little kids, and then hand their parent that We Talk this, and then tell them this is what we learned today. And on the We Talk, I've been putting the motions to the verses so parents can do the verses with the kids at home too. So you know what? You do that. You do the craft with them and retell the story. And then go over that verse and then say that to them as they leave, and reinforce that by that We Talk. We did our job. Yay! So anyway, I hope you have time, if you're telling the Bible story, or even if you're not telling the Bible story, read the story of Jonah in the Bible this week. Read the lesson pack. Pray for your kids in your class. Pray for yourself, that God will show you how he wants you to interact with the kids this week. Thank you for all you do. And remember, what you do this Sunday teaching these kids may be the most important thing that you get to do this week. See you next time.